What's going on? My name is Nick. Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the best place in all of Mexico to make an investment. Now that means either building or buying, whether it be pre-construction or an already done unit for you. The reason why this place is the best place is because this area actually cannot be built on after a certain amount is already done. What does that mean for you, me, and an investor? That means that the ROI will increase because the demand will continuously increase without allowing more building. I'll leave it up to you to watch the video to find out exactly what I'm talking about, but I promise you this is the best place to invest. I actually invested here. I own a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom penthouse. I'll include the link below, and you can get direct information from my developer, my business partner, Tony Martinez, and I'm excited for you to join the channel, watch, like, comment, subscribe, and feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. If you have any questions, we can set up a meeting. Thank you.
This is a map of Tulum, okay? So this is Tulum as a whole. What's really cool about Tulum is you cannot build on most of Tulum. So you see this over here. This is a national reserve. You might have heard about it, called Shankan. Shankan is a national reserve. It's owned by the federal government. You can build on it even if you wanted to. So that completely out of the photo. This here are subterranean rivers, aka known as cenotes, which are beautiful. You can build here either. So Tulum is very limited, and that's why Tulum is becoming very hot and in demand, because the only place where you can actually even here, yeah, over here on the below, this is where the Mayan ruins are. So you can build there either. So it's really just this region, right? So anything in that region is going to be nice. Now there are nicer areas than others, of course. The nicest, the most premium is called Aldea Zama, and it's this area right here. It's all the services are subterranean. You see no wires. It's a master plan community, meaning that there's a commercial area with restaurants and bars and food. There's some parks.
Yeah, I've looked that up. I'm interested in that, but
It's very nice. Now it's very nice. The properties we've built before are in here, but it's pricey. Now the up and coming area, which in the future will obviously, have a very high equity value, is this area right here, known as Region 15. Okay, and Region 15 right now still has some. It's not like super built up, and there's no. A lot of these places still have dirt roads, right? And so you go in there and first you're like, whoa, where am I at? But the funny thing about it is it's prime real estate, right? Because you're really only like not even 10 minutes from the beach. The property I'm showing you is right here where the circle's at, right there. Okay. So to go to the beach, you have to take this. There's a road that takes you to a street called Kukulkan. Kukulkan is this one right here. Okay. It runs parallel to the other most famous street called Koba. Koba is this one. And Koba is the one that had always existed. This one, Kukulkan, that runs parallel to that, just opened up.
The new one?
Yeah, that's the new one. And obviously, right now, everyone's going crazy for this area. A lot of people buying land, a lot of people building homes, building developments, because this is the hot area. Now, the downside is that it's still street roads, or sorry, dirt roads. Okay, it's not a master plan community. However, it does have restaurants. There is bars. There is, an entire commercial area. The only thing is that there's not a designated area. So let's just say I build a complex and I want to do something underneath, like ground floor commercial. I have to get a special permit. But there's already a lot of commercial permits being assigned. So eventually, this area will have a lot of cool activities and services. But today it doesn't. Okay. So I do want.
Does it have internet right now that's reliable?
Yes, there is. There's internet.
Okay.
There is electricity and there is water. So there is all the services. They don't work better or worse than Aldea Zama, because Tulum is the same. Now the only thing
how's the sewage there? How do you guys deal with that?
So we tap into the municipality's sewage system. There is sewage system that extends from all this here to Aldea Zama. Now, big developments have to have their own water treatment plant. Okay, some don't, which is horrible, but they should. Okay, we have something called biodigestores, which is an internal plant within our complex, which treats the gray waters or dark waters. And then as far as the regular water, we tap into the municipality. However, we create a high pressure system through our own investment of our property. So in any of our properties, and if you guys when you come, you can see our properties, you'll see that our water pressure is actually very high. We soften the water as well because a lot of water comes from underground, meaning that it's salt water because of the ocean. We treat the water as well. So we don't really have a lot of the issues that you'll hear a lot of the hotels here in the beach have.
So do you have the water on top, like on the third floor, and then it drains down and that gives you the water pressure?
That is correct.
Okay, that's how we had it at our house in Mexico.
Yeah.
We would run out of water and we'd have to get the water truck to deliver water. They'd have to fill it up.
Okay. Yeah, no, we don't have to do that, but we do have like what you're talking about. We call them cisterna, and they're on the top.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we do have a cisterna just in case. Like, let's just say,
Yes.
I don't know, electricity's out for a few days, and we are done with the municipality water. Then we use our plan B, which is the cisterna you're talking about,
Gotcha.
which goes from the top. In this project, Muki, where we have two proposals, we don't know which one it'll be. If we do it from the top, it's easy. If we do it from the ground, we have to have a generator, which we always have anyways. And then the generator taps into something called hidronomáticos, which push pressure in case we decide to have the cistern underground. So that creates pressure, and that gets pushed to all the different condos. So we haven't decided which one of the two will be, but because we just literally are launching this project. But chances are they'll be in the top because we don't have a rooftop or a common area on the top. We decided to give everyone their own pools, their own privacy. So the top area can be used for the cisterna, which is very possible that we'll do. But I think, guys, before we maybe get ahead of ourselves, maybe why don't you tell me a little bit about your budget, your timeline. For example, if we were to find something now, would it be something you're ready to invest in? Would you have to liquidate assets and then eventually, and if so, what does the timeline look like so that I can better guide you?
We are coming in, I guess, April. We have the 27th we arrive.
Oh,
and we are ready. I mean, if it's within our budget, want to say around 300, 315, I would say.
Okay.
Somewhere around that range. We're ready. I mean, we really would like something turnkey, but I mean, we're open, but.
Okay.
And the closing process over there, is it like
90 days?
Is it 90 days? I've heard different things. It's 6 months.
No, well, what do you mean? Like, if you find something that's ready to rent, you mean?
Say it was done, yeah.
No, if it's done, the closing process can take longer if the developer does not have the title yet. Because here in Mexico, my unit can be ready, but the process of getting the title can take 90 to 60 days. Sorry, 90 to 180 days. Okay. But average is 90 days. But the possession of the unit is immediate. Okay. There's the possession and the closing. The possession, they give you the keys, you can use it, rent it, and that's what you want. You want possession.
Yeah.
The title process can take 90 days, 120. It's not a big deal. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm going to use the washroom. And I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
1 second. You guys can talk to Nick.
So Nick, is there other developments that are available right now, or is there any close to done? Do you know?
For our project specifically?
Yeah.
No, for our projects, no. We've had a lot that, like the one that I purchased. So I met Tony about a year ago. I was in the same position as you guys, and I ended up bringing a bunch of friends, and we pretty much bought the whole building.
That's what we did in our condo at the lake. She bought one, my brother bought one, my other two friends, we bought 5 units.
Yeah, so
I get it.
That's how it started. And then Tony and I just started working together. I ended up living here, and we have just been working together. And I realized, it's difficult for Americans to trust the buying process in another country. And so we started just putting up YouTube videos of just simple questions, how to do it, because there's really not that much. I mean, there's a few, and we've gotten a lot of clients from that. And to be honest, we sold a lot of the units that Tony has already built. And with that being said, what he's showing you right now, we haven't even launched this, and we've already sold we've already sold 50% of it. Well, sold, I mean, we have reservations, right? The other thing is,
when does that expect to be complete, or
how long does it take to build something like that?
Yeah, that's a Tony question.
Yeah, that's a Tony question.
Mexico time.
No, because the thing is, Tony's very fast with building. I mean, and in the contract, if he doesn't deliver on that time, then he has to pay you. So there's a lot of people involved in the sense that things have to be done in a timely manner. And I want to say it's 24 months from right now. It's 18 months from, it's 18 months from right now to build that. Now, right? Is it 18 months from now until Muki is finished?
Delivery? Yeah, 15.
15. Okay, so it's not Mexican time. It's faster than Mexican time.
So I was just thinking in my walk to the washroom that if you're looking for something ready, maybe what I can do is this: we can do a quick search to see from my developer friends. Obviously, everything I direct you is going to be something that I would manage. Like if I, because a lot of people say, "Well, Tony, this is what I want," and I already did my research, and I want you to represent me, but this is what I want. But can you manage it? But what they want is does not represent a high opportunity in the rental market. It's more like for them, right? Because a lot of people get emotional about the investment and they pick something that looks beautiful for them, but not for the renter. So a lot of times I still help them and I represent them, but I won't necessarily, rent it, be the management company. If I have from the get-go, if you guys say, yes, we want you to represent us, yes, we want you to manage it, then my filtering system will be much tighter. And then what I can do, if you guys give me say a week, is I can begin to see what properties I would personally invest in, knowing your budget, that are ready to go. If there's something that I really truly feel represents an opportunity, I'll present it. If not, then I would say let's consider maybe in our own project doing something custom for you guys, which would be the ideal thing, thinking long term, but not necessarily. I mean, I don't want to have you guys think
They
that.
could always buy more.
Well, yeah, exactly. You can always make your first investment, then invest again with us.
Yeah.
I don't want to have you think that our projects are the only ones that are going to rent well, because it's a combination. It's a good design, right? First and foremost, got to have the aesthetics. Number two is got to be have the right decor, the right Instagrammable identity, and then lastly and very importantly is it's got to have good management. If you I didn't show you this, but our properties, our average on Airbnb is, so if you guys go to Airbnb, you guys can probably
I'll send you the links to all the units that we have too.
Okay.
yeah, but what's really cool is, watch, let me go to profile. This will show you. So notice here, out of 5 stars, okay, this unit has a 4.96. There's 45 comments. I'm guessing one was negative to have a 4.96 and not a 5.
Right.
Okay, that's as good as it gets. A good rating is 4. A really good is
No.
4.5.
I have 5.
I have
You have
5.
Wow. How many reviews?
That's
do
what
you guys
I'm
have?
going to check. I'm like, how many reviews do I
Well,
have?
actually, yeah, I think I have 5.
I have like
We use ours a lot. She rents hers. I use it, but I have a lot of Mexican national people that come and rent for a month
Got it. Okay,
at a
cool.
time.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
you know how it works, right? You guys have to be
Yeah,
fast with the response
exactly.
time. If people are like, "Oh, I got locked out. I have no keys," we have to respond and help them out and have
Oh,
someone
yeah.
help them. So we have a full-on team. But for us to be committed to take care of it, it has to have a good ROI opportunity projection. So that being said, we can break it down in steps and say, okay, Tony, first, let's see if we can find something ready to go within our budget that truly represents an opportunity. And I'll do step 1. If I say, hey, you know what,
28 reviews.
28, all right, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And you got a 5, that's pretty good. So you guys are doing a good job. And the thing is, I don't want to talk bad about my own country, my own people, but in Mexico, the professionalism and the attentiveness is not the same as the US. So,
Mhm.
because I come from the background of the US and I know how it works, my people work different. So if I can extend my team to your unit, I think it'll be a winning combo. But you guys have to give me the freedom to truly choose and say, this unit is good, this is hot, right?
Right.
Or this one, not so much, but it's still good, but maybe it's not going to give you a 10, 13% ROI. Maybe it's only a 7 or 8% ROI. I'll set the expectations right with my partner who's not here on this call. His name is David, but he's the operator of the company. So he's got a killer eye when it comes to that. And he'll tell me, look, Tony, yes, no. So we do a little research together. I'll bring a few options. If you guys give me a week.
Okay.
And then of course, by the time you're here, we can go physically visit them.
And will you all be able to meet with us during some part of that time, or? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Because
gonna
we're
be
ready to like hit the roads. Like we're here, no kids, like ready to focus. Like
you guys
business.
are coming on April 28th.
27th, so we'll have 3 full days, the 28th through the 30th.
Okay, now here's the only thing I will ask, and just being very transparent. So we're very busy, thank God, amongst our projects, and we have very solid clientele base that is always referring us. So we're quite busy. So the only thing I'll ask is, if you want us to represent you, is that you commit to working with us, because I know you're probably already talking to other brokers, maybe sending a lot of requests online. You maybe got conversations going, and implied.
Yeah, we understand. We're in the business too.
He's
know
a
how it works.
broker,
I'm a real
we're
estate
appraisal,
broker.
and she's a loan officer.
So,
So we get it.
I get it. You don't want to run around.
No,
Yeah.
because at the
No,
end of the day, I can show you or sell you the same thing anyone else can, because there's no
Right.
exclusivities to what you can sell. Everybody wants you to sell their projects. So we can sell you the same thing anyone else. The difference is we're going to guide you to the better ones, because I'm not representing the seller. I'm representing the buyer, right?
Okay.
So I don't really care to help a developer. I want
Right.
you, because if you're going to rent with me, then I have to create results for you. So
Yeah.
if you guys can say, okay, Tony, yeah, we want you guys to represent us, to give us the exclusivity over representing you, and that way we can work extremely hard over the next week or two to find you the right property. So when you guys come, we can physically see it. If you guys like it, by then probably we already have an offer in mind. We already have ideas to close on the property, and hopefully when you're here, we can move forward on the closing, assuming that obviously we find the right property beforehand.
Okay.
So do you think in our budget, the 300, you think we can do something?
So, okay, good question. So, again, as I was walking the washroom, I have a unit. It's not a unit I developed, but it's a unit that I actually would invest in. And it's a 3-bedroom. It locks up into 3 units. It's actually, I'll tell you what it is. It's like Now, it's not the most, if you come, you're going to love it, but it does not have its own pool within the unit. I just think it has a good ROI. It's got a good ROI because each unit has its own entrance, its own lock off, yeah.
Right.
And it has one beautiful big kitchen. And I want to say it's like 350 and it's ready to go, but we could probably put an aggressive offer.
Does it have a community pool?
It has a community pool. They have their own little restaurant and bar downstairs. It's a boutique development. I want to say it's only like 20, 30 units. It's nothing big. That's just one I have in mind. I'm not saying that's the one.
Okay.
But yeah, I think your range is fine. I think 330-ish is a little better if that's a possibility at all. But yeah, I think your range is fine. You'll see a lot of projects right now like in the 400,000 range. But if they're built and ready to go, and they for whatever reason haven't sold, we can come in with an aggressive offer at around, I think, the 320, 330-ish, and I think we can nail something nice.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess. Do you have any questions?
Is there multiple listing service? I mean, do you have access to everything that's up for sale, or only like your friends' stuff?
Well, no, I have access to everything in the market, but I'm not going to necessarily guide you to everything in the market because I don't think everything is good. The reality is there's over 200 developments in pre-construction right now. Okay. In our last study, it showed over 200 properties in pre-construction. Okay, that's just in building plus whatever is already ready to go. So they don't all necessarily represent an opportunity. I'm only going to guide you to those developments that I truly feel represent a good opportunity for the rental.
But there's no MLS like what you're referring
Right.
to. Everything is
no.
based on Google Drive with agents and people that know somebody that's a developer
network.
and stuff like that. So
It's-
Tony,
yeah.
what Tony's kind of saying is there's no MLS. We've already kind of just weaned out the who's good and who's not, and those are the 12 developers that we work with because he's been here for 17 years, and there's a lot of
unfortunately-
people coming from the United States to build and develop here, and there's a lot.
The thing is this, in Mexico, there's no MLS system yet. I wish there was, because it would cut our work in half for all of us, the agencies and the developers, right? You just list it and it's there. There is no MLS system. You have to work with an agency. The agency goes and does the research. There's a lot of developments, like Nick said, that are brand new. So we have to do our due diligence. Are these developers good? What have they done before? So agencies kind of tend to work with who they know that is good. I don't have a preference over one developer or the other. I care, will the unit rent or not? Because my client, 99% of my clients want a rental unit. They don't want to retire in Tulum. So I'm not looking for a residential property. I'm looking for a rental unit for my clients. So that being said, my filtering system immediately goes like this, boom, because only a few design for rental, most design for whatever the client might like, and that's not what you want, because those are like, that's probably 90% of the stuff that you'll see online. You know, these are developers that are from Mexico City, Monterrey, Dallas, Houston, New York, LA, because there's a lot of new developers here, a lot. Tulum is hot right now, and so most people are new. There's only a few that have built here before, that know the market, that know the audience, that know to design for the rental, and that's who we deal with. So now if you saw something online, maybe you already have, you can send it to me, send it via WhatsApp, say, Tony, I saw this, what do you think? And I'll give you my honest feedback. And then not just will I give you my feedback, when it comes to negotiating, I'll actually sit down with the developer. But it's a different conversation having a sit down with a developer to another developer than if I'm there like an agent, right? Meaning I know who they are, I know if the, you know, if the, how much it costs them
You know
to
the
build.
profit margins too.
I know the
Yeah.
exactly. I know what it costs them to build, and I know how much we can negotiate. And that's where my biggest value add is to people, is in the negotiation. Because I'm not gonna say, hey, I have a client. I'm gonna say, hey, listen, I have a friend. Okay, they wanted to invest with me. I didn't have anything that suited them, and I brought them to you. What can you do for them? So it's a different conversation, and I think that's my biggest value add. But if you already have been doing some research and you like some stuff, send it my way. Because sometimes I find stuff that I didn't even know existed that I'm like, oh wow, that looks cool. New developer, let me interview him. And then if he passes the checklist, then I'll say, hey, this stuff looks good. And then we can move forward, you know, with a second conversation with him.
There's a ton of stuff online, but I'm wondering if a lot of it is just sitting there from a year ago, or
Some of it's a
You
little
know.
bit of bait and switch.
A
Oh,
lot
we
of it
don't,
is,
we
yeah.
don't. Oh, yeah, you're interested in that. Well, we have this, and then it gets brought to.
That's what made me leery about even thinking about a new construction,
I see.
because, you know, what,
What if, yeah, what if
how
you
much
put
you
your
put
money?
down, and then, you know,
Yeah.
like, that's just a scary thing, you know, because there's no, you know,
The other thing
insurance on
is,
that.
Yeah, I get it.
just me as an investor too, before I even met Tony, I mean, that's why we started making these YouTube videos, is that I was weary, I was concerned about what's going on. One of the questions that Tony would ask the other developers is, do you have the funds that you're going to have this building built regardless of an investor or not? And with Tony and with Tony's investors, with Tony's partners, the building is going to be built regardless whether or not you buy it or not. And that's important. That's a very important thing.
Sorry. A lot of developers, they're waiting on sales to build, right? So that's not good. I don't recommend that, and that's most, but not all. I know developers who they have a solid fund, which they're prepared to build it on their own if they never sold a thing, and those are rare but few, but they exist. So if you do buy pre-construction, that's who I would guide you towards. But maybe because I'm seeing that you want to get this on the Airbnb market rather quickly because you have the funds. Because a lot of people like the pre-construction because it gives them 18 months, 24 months to pay it off. But if you have the
Right.
funds, then I think we can be a little aggressive in our negotiation, find something really good, or maybe be open to a developer that's almost coming to a close.
Right.
Maybe
Right.
they're only 6 months away from finishing, and I could see that
Yeah.
the building's there. They're working on the finishes. They have the funds to finish. They're not depending on another sale to finish the last phase. So, you know, if you're open to that, I think that we can add that to the.
Okay.
What does the payout look like on a like a, say we go to the route where we want to build something? How does that look like as far as payment structure?
Sure. So, if we
For
want
the
to
one
build,
you showed, say,
Just any, yeah.
yeah.
well, they're a little different. For example, if you said, "Hey, Tony, well, what could we build with, I don't know, 320,000?" We'd find land first and foremost, right? We'd find proper land that's attractive location, represents good price. We'd buy the land. You'd have to pay the land full out.
Yeah.
The land is going to cost you, say, about $80,000 in that new region that I showed you. Okay, we pay the land, and then we design something. We come up with a budget, and then you probably pay about 30% of the building cost up front. Okay, and then per month, as I progress on the building, you pay me per month. So there's phases. I'm gonna say, hey, phase one is gonna last 3 months, and I need another, I don't know, 100,000. No, probably not that much. 50,000, and 50,000 will be split in 3 months. And then, hey, I already finished that phase. Now I'm moving to the second phase. So you're stretching your cost over 18 months, 15 months at most.
And another question. So in some of those areas you're talking about, how is, because I like the idea of Aldazama or whatever being being gated.
Yeah.
Security, how is that out in some of those other areas? With us not being there, is it
Well,
going to get broken into? And
good question. So number one, I'll clarify. Aldea Sama is not a private community. It's a master plan community,
Okay.
but it's not private. So anyone can go in there because there's a commercial area with restaurants and bars, and people go there to have a drink or have a restaurant. It's not like there's a gate there. It's not a gated
All right.
community. So the reality is that all of Tulum is open to anyone. Is that Aldea Sama has a master plan, so you know what they're going to build in every land. We know what the zoning is. We know where the parks will be. We know where the commercial area will be. That's the only difference. And the streets are paved really nicely. I mean, it is a nice neighborhood. I will say that about Aldea Zama. Now, as far as security, I think that's a general question because anyone can enter Aldea Zama. But Tulum it's a small town. It's a small town. It's not. I grew up in Los Angeles, so when people ask me about the security, I think of LA and I go, well, Tulum is extremely safe. I leave my car with open windows because it's so hot at times. If I did that in LA, they'll take my stereo and my rims. But no, over here it's extremely safe. It's a tourist town. So, I mean, you're going to hear a lot of stuff in the news that happens because Tulum is a very small town. The state of Quintana Roo is tiny. So anything happens and it's international news because it's tourism. So, Canada news, European town, and all of a sudden, a guy was shot. Well, yeah, but that was the only thing that happened in the last 90 days. In LA, there's I don't know how many people die a day. So I guess if we compare apples to apples, I would say Tulum is one of the safest places that you can live. In general, the Riviera Maya for that matter. And if you have a house, like let's say we built a house, well, it's going to have a security system. All of our properties we build, we have 24-hour security. So physical security is there on property. So because of this, they don't really.
You mean physically, like all day, every day, there's security there?
We have 24-hour security at our buildings.
And that's part of the HOA?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Labor here is very inexpensive. So paying a full-time security is actually we have two. We have one that covers the day, one that covers the night. Between both, it's costing us probably about, I want to say $1,200 a month.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, $1,400 max per month, and that covers 2 shifts, 2 individuals, all day, all night there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then another kind of question, because it seems like they're just building like crazy. Do you guys feel like the demand's going to keep growing? I mean, because there's so many properties going on the market.
That's a
and
great
it's
question.
gone up so much already. I mean, I
Yes.
just don't want to think we're in the tail end and we kind of
But
missed
the
boat.
airport's coming, so there's once people start flying in, I feel like then it's gonna explode even more.
Yeah, so there's 2 sides of this conversation. Number one is there a lot of development? Yes. Okay, being full transparency. However, on the other side, there's only so much of Tulum they can build on, right? Remember we covered this right now. So it doesn't really matter that there's a lot of building because eventually it's all going to be built anyways. Whether it gets built over the next 20 years or whether it gets built over the next 7 years, the amount of building will be the same. What they cannot do in Tulum is build higher than four floors, right? In Cancun, you can build 23. In Playa del Carmen, you can build 7. In Tulum, you can build 4. So there is a limit to the amount of development that will be in Tulum, period. And if you see a lot of Tulum, I'd probably say maybe 65% of, let's say 50 being conservative, 50% of Tulum, you can build in it anyways, right? If this was Playa del Carmen, everything would look like this right here. Look, the footprint of development would be everything. And Tulum, you can't. So is there a lot of development? Yes. Are you still in a good time? Yes. Because the airport is going to be built. You got the Mayan train being built right now. That's going to bring more people. Unfortunately, I think the reality is, in my personal opinion, is I think Tulum, it'll be out of reach for a lot of people to invest in later. It's going to be out of reach. It's going to be out of reach because it'll just be too expensive because all the nice spots were already booked unless you decide to invest over here. The next step to Tulum is over here, all this over here, right? So what you're finding a property now here, you'll be able to find it here in the next 5 years. So you'll be forced to invest outside. And Tulum will grow that way. Well, it won't be Tulum, it's another city over here. But I personally think Tulum has a good 7 to 10 years before the market stabilizes like in Playa del Carmen. Playa del Carmen is still a good market, right? I mean, let's understand. And it's been selling hot for 25 years. And Playa del Carmen today still brings ROIs of 6 to 8% and equity values or capital. I don't know in English. I think it's capital gain.
Appreciation.
Appreciation. Thank you. Yeah, annual appreciation is anywhere between, well, the average is 7%. In Playa del Carmen, the last 5 years, it's been 7%. And ROIs between 6 and 8. Rental. So Tulum happens to do better, right? Tulum, you're finding anywhere between 9 and 12% rental returns and appreciation between 8 and 10. But at some point, that will stabilize, like Playa del Carmen, but it's still good. Now, if you guys are all about ROI, then my advice to you is write out Tulum for the next 7, 10 years, and then no different than what we're doing, my partners and I, is okay. Tulum maxed out. Let's sell our property right at a much higher value, and let's find the next Tulum, which we already are working on investing in other places. So I think that would be the move if you're simply looking for ROI. It's let's look for the next Tulum, which is probably going to be south towards places like Bacalar. There's other beaches in the area that I'll talk. That's another conversation. But yeah, my partners are already investing in the next Tulums in the region. So
Is there a marina?
in Tulum, no. The closest marina, though, it's very close. It's only 15 minutes. It's called Puerto Aventuras.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess we'll talk, and I guess we'll just let you know that if we want to go ahead and pursue and see what we can do when we come. So I'll let you know. We'll have a conversation, and then I'll just get back with you guys.
And there you have it. As you can see, we went through the entire map, why supply and demand is in effect here in Tulum. It's not possible to build everywhere because of protected areas, rivers underground, and archaeological sites. That means eventually there's going to be a higher demand with a less amount of supply. Now, Tony and I, this is what we do every single day. And if you're interested in setting up your own meeting, feel free to reach out to me on my Instagram. My WhatsApp link is there. We can set up your own meeting. Now, if you want to watch the full length video of this Zoom meeting, feel free to click the link below and we can schedule a meeting after that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.